You may have noticed that in recent years, consumer and shareholder preferences have shifted dramatically when it comes to corporate responsibility. Establishing environmental, social, and governance goals, or ESG goals, is a really great way to communicate to conscious consumers and stakeholders that your company is actively working to address the causes that are important to them. By highlighting your company's ESG goals, you can capture the growing market of consumers and corporate leaders who want to support companies that practice environmental sustainability and share their key values. That's why in today's video, you're going to learn how your company can incorporate solar to advance ESG goals, starting today. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Victoria, and this is Going Solar with Pivot Energy, where we cover all things solar energy, commercial solar, solar financial incentives, and community solar. Earlier, I mentioned that more consumers want to see companies take extra measures that align with their values. In fact, 79% of consumers report changing their purchasing habits based on environmental impact, social responsibility, or inclusiveness. Among consumer product and retail companies who have adopted sustainability initiatives, 77% report that it's led to increased customer loyalty, and 63% report that it's increased brand revenue. Plus, investors use it to determine whether or not they want to invest in a company. For example, BlackRock, which is one of the largest asset owners in the world, says that ESG is one of the criteria for who they invest in. All right, now that you know the importance, let's dive right into ESG 101. ESG is short for environmental, social, and governance. This is a framework that companies like Pivot use to create goals to advance sustainability, employee well-being, and transparent reporting. Whether it's ecological sustainability, relationships with customers, employees, and the community, or corporate leadership standards, all of them are vital for corporate accountability. Even though the S and the G are 2/3 of ESG, today we're focusing on the E, and how your company can advance positive climate action by prioritizing clean, renewable energy. When your business sets ESG goals, you're expected to report on how you're addressing environmental issues. Living up to the E in your ESG goals is so important because it shows your shareholders, customers, and community that you're putting your money where your mouth is. More and more publicly traded companies have started reporting their ESG goals in recent years, and carrying out their objectives gives significant insight into their company to both the public and investors. Ultimately, it comes down to the idea that companies will be more successful if they value the environment. If you're interested in learning more about sustainable business practices, check out our video, What is Sustainable Business? Like all the videos I'll mention today, it's linked in the description below. Before we dive deeper into the E of ESG, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a new video. The most significant environmental factors to consider when setting your ESG goals are greenhouse gases, or GHGs. You've likely already heard of GHGs like carbon dioxide and methane that trap heat in the atmosphere and warm the planet. GHGs are not good for the environment. Accounting for and planning to reduce your business's greenhouse gas emissions is a vital component of your ESG reporting. There are 3 different emission categories, or scopes, that paint a bigger picture of your company's climate impact. Scope 1 includes greenhouse gas emissions from company-owned and operated sources, aka direct emissions. This category consists of the GHGs from business transportation like cars and trucks, heating sources like boilers and furnaces, factory fumes, and refrigerant chemicals. On the other hand, Scope 2 emissions are indirect emissions that come from the energy your business purchases or acquires. Grid electricity, steam, heating, and cooling that you buy from outside sources like utility companies all count as Scope 2. And then finally, Scope 3 emissions, also called value chain emissions, count as incidental greenhouse gases. These emissions are the cumulative odds and ends from things like business travel, employee commuting, waste that your business sends to the landfill, and the emissions from companies whose goods and services you buy. That means that your company's computers might account for a lot of your Scope 3 emissions because of the CO2 produced in the computer manufacturing process. Scope 3 also includes the emissions from the use and disposal of products you sell. What sets Scope 3 apart from 1 and 2 is the fact that reporting it is considered optional, at least as of the time of this video. Even though Scope 3 emissions are arguably the biggest producer of greenhouse gases, there isn't a universal way to calculate and report them. So even if a business's CO2 emissions come from Scope 3, there isn't a great way to account for them. However, the overarching problem is the non-renewable energy sources that make up these scopes. Fossil fuels are hazardous to the environment, and they create the greenhouse gas emissions that contribute to the planet's changing climate. But there is a way to directly impact how much GHG your company produces in these scopes. And if you've already learned something in this video, give it a thumbs up so YouTube knows to show this video to others. When you're trying to meet your business's ESG goals, solar energy is an investment that can substantially reduce your greenhouse gas emissions. Solar power creates emission-free renewable energy directly on your property to subsidize a major portion of your on-site power load, if not all of it. With solar panels, the amount of non-renewable energy your company directly and indirectly stops using is tangible and monumental. It's actually proven by energy density metrics that are used to measure a solar system's impact. From the very first second you turn on your solar array, your ESG goals are that much closer to being met. It's an immediate, straightforward, and uncomplicated solution, especially compared to low-impact ESG projects that require an insurmountable level of cooperation and time. Installing solar panels for commercial use can reduce your Scope 1 and 2 emissions since it's a 100% renewable resource. You can learn even more about the incredible sustainability perks of solar power in our video, Environmental Benefits of Solar. There's also significant financial value in installing solar panels since it reduces costs, earns tax credits, generates income and cash yields, and delivers predictable returns. You can learn more about the financial benefits by checking out our comprehensive playlist, Solar Financing 101. And remember, all the videos and playlists I mentioned today are linked in the description below. So that all sounds great, right? But how can you get started with solar installation for your own business? When you're ready to start reaching your ESG goals with solar power, Pivot Energy is here for you. If you're looking for meaningful ways to reduce your carbon footprint, working with a certified B Corp solar developer like Pivot is a great way to do good on your word. We're a turnkey solar provider, so we plan, build, manage, and help finance commercial projects. We're a national leader in helping businesses achieve their ESG goals, and we want to make solar energy solutions accessible to your company by providing you with everything that you need. We've worked with some of the world's top corporations to reach their sustainability goals with solar arrays, and we'd love to work with yours too. Of course, feel free to comment on any questions you have or reach out to me directly using my email listed in the description. My team of solar experts and I are happy to answer any of your questions. And for more info, you can go over to our website, pivotenergy.net. I hope that you've enjoyed this video and learned more about ESG and how you can meet your sustainability goals. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when we post our latest videos on clean energy solutions. Thanks for tuning in to Going Solar with Pivot Energy. See you in our next video.